So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to my serger and I'm going to serge all around the jacket. Okay. Okay. So I already ran over the entire outer perimeter of the jacket with my serger, not in my serger, but so I did that. So now what we're going to do is go to our machine over here, and what I'm going to do is switch it to a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to fold in about half an inch like that, or half an inch, not about, but half an inch. Fold it down, and then you're going to top stitch it with a zigzag stitch all the way around. So let's get that done, and then we can talk about putting in the buttonhole and button. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm ready to do the buttonhole. What I did first is I just put the jacket on my mannequin. I put it on yourself, and then, you know, kind of like if you were to button it, and then just kind of mark with a pin where that correct spot was, and then come back. I tried using, I have a buttonhole attachment to this machine, and I recently got it serviced, but still, I've had this machine for many years. I cannot figure out how to use that thing. I have my original manual, and it doesn't help. Like, my machine just won't do it. So I have to do it manually using a fine embroidery stitch and my zigzag stitch, and then I have to just mark it out on paper with a pen, and then I have to just use my clear embroidery foot to do that. If you have a buttonhole attachment, please use it. It makes your life so much easier. If not, how I'm doing it and how you should do it anyways when you have a buttonhole, when you're trying to do a buttonhole, is use like paper or something to go in between. They do sell it's called tearaway or stitch and tear, and you do use that usually one underneath, like if you're doing a buttonhole. But for stretchy fabrics, because it moves a lot, I like to do it on the top, on the bottom, and then I just pick out the top paper. It just gives it more structure, so that way it prevents, especially on stretchy fabric, it prevents the buttonhole from kind of over time warping and then just becoming all warped, you know, over time, and then your buttonhole gets bigger, and then your button will not stay in that hole anymore because it's way too big for it. So I'm just going to do that. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I marked out, I measured my button first of all on the paper, and then I just did like a capital I, like there's two lines here, and one in the middle. If you could see on my foot, it has an orange line, and that helps me stay centered. So I'm going to try and follow this line with the orange line. So let me go ahead and do my buttonhole. You do yours, and we'll be almost done. And then the shoulder pads, and almost done. Okay, so I did my buttonhole, and now I'm just gonna pull it over to see the placement. I don't like doing placements on paper patterns or even the store-bought ones. They're never correct for your body, or I mean, once you do the markings and sew everything together and are about to do it. For me, even now, they still hardly ever match up. So I always do this last. So like I was saying, just kind of pull it over, make sure it's nice and tight on you. So I think right there is okay. I have a shank type button that's a little thing, so I have it attached right now with my black thread. So as I'm holding these two together, I already made a hole through my buttonhole, so I'm going to push this through there. Okay, and then I'll just unbutton it. And now I have the button on this side, and then I'm just going to sew it down. I cannot see where the thing is. Oh, here it is. We'll go through it a couple times. Stretchy fabric can be tricky. So there's that. I'm just going to cut that right now and then just make my last and final knot. But there we go. All right, so back to the last part. I already put one of the other shoulder pads on shoulder of one side of the jacket. So I'm doing this one-handed. Let's see, which side is it? Okay, so you see this seam allowance right here? We're gonna use that to sew on the shoulder pad, okay? So, let me see if I can kind of show you one-handed. So kind of get, position it so that way it's straight and all. And then where this middle seam is, grab the allowance, and then with your machine on this side, kind of go, do a straight line and then back tack it at each side so that way, all the pulling and stress on it doesn't eventually undo the threads and this pops off. So let me show you what this one went a little crooked, but I'm trying to like go at the edge of this so it, because if I had it straight, then part of this white part would be showing, poking out down here. So just do it like that and then we'll be done. And then I'll put this all on the mannequin for a final presentation, I guess. All right, let's get started.